Good morning, good evening, good night. I believe Dragoon carries for real, and welcome to my Phantom Knight deck combo tutorial. Since I play such an unorthodox kind of list with Utopic Draco Future, I've been asked to and thought about having a combo tutorial, and I feel as if this would be a good way to show you how to go into him consistently turn 1, or at least how I plan to. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, so for combo number 1, if you start off with Tour Guide and any random card in hand, which you'll probably find a lot of, you can normal summon Tour Guide. You can use Tour Guide's effect to special summon Graph from the deck. You'll then link 2 into Cherubini. Graph's effect will now fire off to summon out Seer from the deck. Cherub's effect will send Cloak. Target itself to boost. You will then link 3 the Seer and the Cherub into Rusty Bardiche. You will use Seer's effect to attempt to revive the Cherubini. Then you will use Bardiche's effect to send Torn Skills to set Fogblade. You will then use Cloak's effect and Grave to banish itself and search for Silent Boots. You will then use Torn Skills effect to special summon itself. You'll then use Torn Skills effect to pitch the random card in hand to send Gloves. You'll then use Gloves effect to banish itself to send Phantom Knight's Wing from deck to groove. You can then special summon your boots, override the 2, into Leviair the Sea Dragon. Leviair's effect will detach 1, targeting one of the 2 banished Phantom Knights. I prefer Cloak first. Make sure every time you use Cloak, or summon out Cloak with Leviair, summon it in attack mode, so then you can use its effect to target Rusty Bardiche, to put it into defense, to get Bardiche to gain 800 attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. You will then banish the wing you sent with Gloves to revive the Phantom Knight you detached. You will then overlay the 2 level 3s on field to summon out Leviair. Leviair effect will again will detach 1 to special summon a banished level 4 lower, in this case the other Phantom Knight. Then you will overlay the 2 Leviairs into F-Zero, and you will overlay F-Zero again into the bigger F-Zero. You will then banish Silent Boots here to search for Shade Brigandine. You will set Shade Brigandine, activate Brigandine. Since you have no traps in grave at the time of activation, you can activate it the turn it's set. You will now link 3 the Brigandine, the level 3, and the Cherubini into Appaloosa for 3 negates. That is basically, this is the full board the deck attempts to end on. Now, what if you're going second? Well, instead of Appaloosa, you will have this, and this back on board. By the way, see if you have any other level 3 extender, like, let's say for example, Kagamucha Knight, right, to chain block the Tour Guide. It just skips a step of the Shade Brigandine, and then you can just search a second Fogblade, which is much nicer. So instead of going into Appaloosa, you're going second, you can link 3 the Brigandine and the Cherubini into Nightmare Unicorn, and since you'll have another spare card, you can spin back your card with Unicorn. Then you will link away the Ragged Gloves and the Unicorn into Access Code Talker. Code Talker effect will target the Nightmare Unicorn here to gain 3000. To go into Brawl Sword here, I think you would need to sacrifice your Utopic Draco Future and like go for a Break Sword push instead. But I think if you can have Access Code Talker, then this is the play that I would go for, because I think it's just much easier and slightly more powerful, mostly because you have Draco on board protecting everything and itself, of course. Yeah, well that's if you go second. What if your hand's a little bit worse? What if you have a different starter to Tour Guide? Well, Combo 2 is coming right up. To Combo 2, we have Torn Skills as our starter, 1 random card in hand, and an extender. The extender of choice here is E-Telly, but it could be any of the level 3 extenders I play in my deck, like Kagamucha Knight, the level 3 Psychics to summon themselves, or Boots, because there's still a way to get up to this full combo here, even if you have Boots instead of a generic level 3 extender. And I will tell you how at the end of this combo. Right, so you will normal summon Torn Skills. You will use Torn Skills effect to pitch Cosmic Cyclone. which is the random card in hand at the moment, and then we will send Cloak. We will then fire off our level 3 extender, which in this case is Italy, to summon our level 3 extender of choice. I'm going to try out Virtual World Hime Nanyan here, just because it's available. We will then link 2 into Cherubini. Cherubini's effect will send from deck to grave Ragged Gloves. No. Cherubini will send Graph from deck to grave for cost to target itself. Graph effect will then special summon Seer from the deck. And because we have Nyan Nyan in grave here, off of the E-Tele, we will activate Nyan Nyan's effect to revive itself as a tuner, but then banish itself when it leaves the field. We will link 3 Cherub and Seer into Bardish. Seer effect will attempt to target Cherub and revive. Rusty Bardish effect will send the gloves from deck to grave to set Fogblade. Then we will banish the Cloak to search for boots. Tornskill's effect will attempt to revive itself. We will then special summon the boots. Or I guess what you could do first is banish Ragged Gloves to send Wing first, and then special summon the boots. But I don't know, do it whatever order you want to. As long as Gloves at some point sends Wing and banishes itself. We will overlay the 2 Phantom Knights into the Levier. Levier's effect will trigger to detach 1 to target the banished Cloak to special summon. Cloak effect will target Bardish to change itself to defense, to give it 800 attack until the end of the next turn, or end of your opponent's next turn. You will banish Wing here to bring back the Phantom Knight you detached. You will overlay the 2. You will overlay 2. Don't overlay Nyan Nyan in this case, but you could overlay the level 3 extender that you have it on the board. But overlay 2 level 3s in the Levier. Levier again will detach 1 to target the Ragged Gloves. Special summon. Now in this case, since you have the materials for Appaloosa, I would just go into it first. Yeah, we will link 4 here into Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Nyan Nyan will be banished, but unfortunately I don't have anything banished to return, so it doesn't really do anything else extra. But it's a cool level 3 extender to sort of consider, and I will be putting that into my next deck profile. Then you will overlay the 2 Leviers into F-Zero, and then the bigger F-Zero again. Now, what if you have a slightly worse hand to be dealt with? Well, good thing I've got combo 3 lined up here for you. What if you're in a situation where you open up 2 random level 3s, sort of like Kagami Knight and Jump Forward, but no extra extenders or starters? Right, so you will put your 2 level 3s on board. You will link 2 into Cherubini. Cherubini's effect will send Graph to target itself to boost, and then Graph effect will special summon Seer from the deck. You will link 3 into Bardish. Seer will attempt to revive Cherubini here. Then you will use Rusty's effect to send Cloak to set Shade Brigandine this time. You will then activate Cloak to banish and search for boots. You will then special summon your boots, activate Brigandine, no traps in grave, special summon. You will then link 4 into Appaloosa, and then you can banish your boots to search for Fogblade. Set 1. It's not exactly the strongest board, but 4 monster negates isn't too terrible on a slightly worse hand like that. Now, what if you have an even worse hand, where you draw, let's say, 2 Burning Abyss bricks? Well, good thing I got combo 4 for you. Now, what if you draw 2 BA bricks? Or in worst case scenario, what if you draw all 3 of them? Well, thankfully, you still have some form of a play. Let's just pretend that Graph is the random card in hand here, right? So you will special summon your Livik because you have no spell traps. You will normal summon your Seer. You will link 2 into Cherubini. Seer's effect will fire off to bring back Livik. Cherub's effect will send Cloak from deck to grave. Target itself to boost. You will then link 3 into Bardish. You will then use Bardish's effect to send Tornskills to set Fogblade. You will then use the Cloak effect in grave to banish and search for boots. You will then use Torn Skills effect to revive. You will use the additional card in hand as discard cost for Torn Skills, which in this case is Graph, to send Ragged Gloves. Then use Ragged Gloves to banish and send Wing. You'll then special summon Boots. You'll overlay 2 into Leviair. Every spec will detach one, targeting Cloak. Cloak effect will target Bardiche to put itself into defense. Gain 800 until the end of your opponent's next turn. You'll then banish Wing. You'll mark Boots. You'll overlay 2 into Leviair again. Every spec will detach one, targeting Gloves. Then you'll overlay the 2 Leviairs into F-Zero. And you'll overlay again into the bigger F-Zero. Yeah, and then you'll use Boots to banish and search for Fogblade. Now, you may not be putting up anywhere near as many negates without the Cherubini into the Appaloosa, but I believe having basically a Widow Anchor with protection and 2 Fogblade on top of 2 extra cards in hand, I think is much nicer and emotionally securing than having a 4 negate Appaloosa. So hopefully them combo tutorials helped you out, and consider dropping a like. Have a nice day. See you later.